Bula Vinaka boxing fans, I am so excited for this weekend's 5 versus 5 main event. Deontay the Bronze Bomber versus Big Bang Zhang. In this video, I'm going to break down my full prediction video and who I think is going to win the fight. But before I do that, let's look at a bit of a tale of the tape for the last few fights for both of these fighters. So, Zhang, we'll start with him first. His last 3 performances were against Joseph Parker and then the 2 exciting fights against Joe Joyce, the Juggernaut. If we go back to the Joe Joyce fights, the first Joe Joyce fight, he was not expected to win. Everyone thought that Joe Joyce was this indestructible juggernaut that would basically walk through everyone, including Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. Zhang came in off the back of a controversial loss to Hrgovic, and many thought that he actually won that fight. The way that Zhang approached the Joe Joyce fight was just amazing. His fast counters, his hooks and power straight left was catching Joyce all day long. And you could see, as visible as the first round, his eye started to mark up. This is Joyce's eye, that is. And then obviously the eyes closed, and within 8 rounds, 7-8 rounds, the fight was put to a stop based on the doctor's recommendation. Zhang would then go on to rematch Joyce after Joyce reactivated the rematch clause. Again, I'm so sick and tired of these rematch clauses. Anthony Joshua, a lot of the British fighters, even Tyson Fury, they seem to always somehow sneak in a rematch clause. I think the only time you should have a rematch clause is if it is for a world championship match. I think if you've been a long reigning champion, like Fury and Usyk, I think it's warranted. But I don't want to see Anthony Joshua have any more rematches, or Joe Joyce, or any other person, unless they've got a heavyweight belt, a championship, and have held it for a while. Because I think it just holds up the division, and it's unfair that you get 2 chances. So anyway, let me just digress there. So he actually goes into the second match, and Joyce comes in heavier because he was quite light for the first fight, and it makes it even worse for him. He gets outboxed quite easily and gets absolutely pummeled with that left hook, and basically knocks Joe Joyce out cold. I mean, to be fair, Joyce did start to wake up and get up on his feet, but there was no way he's going to beat the count. And Zhang won by knockout. He would then go on to face Joseph Parker. And Zhang in this fight basically was in control, and then went into cruise control and let Parker come back into the fight, who was the busier fighter, threw more combinations. Zhang had quite heavy blows and dropped Parker quite early, I think as early as the 3rd round. And you thought at the time, oh man, this is it. Parker's not going to last. I thought we're going to see another Joe Joyce type of demolition job. But we didn't. Parker has learned a lot from that. He continued with his boxing, and even being dropped again in the 8th round, he basically won all the rounds, bar the 2 rounds that he was knocked down. And the judges saw it that way as well. So Zhang, whilst he's a great fighter, A lot of people say that he is a 6-round fighter and he does tend to fade. If you can get him past 6 rounds, you've got a good chance of beating him because he's not very active. Well, he hasn't been to this point. Then we go to the bronze bomber, Deontay Wilder. If we look back at Deontay's last 3 fights, he's also fought Joseph Parker, Robert Helenius, and then that historic 3rd fight with Tyson Fury, the trilogy. So he's got a record of 1 win and 2 losses in his last 3 fights. If we go back to the epic trilogy fight, I thought this was one of Deontay Wilder's best performances. It had everything. It had, boxing IQ at the start, going with the jabs to the body. He had aggression. He showed incredible heart, incredible balls, will, grit, determination. He just came up against a Tyson Fury at the time who I believe was at the top of his game, regardless of the fact that he only had 3 or 4 weeks to train. This was a Tyson Fury who was on a mission and was not going to lose to anyone on that night. He was going to come through any sort of adversity to win. The punch that he took from Deontay Wilder in the forehead, where his whole body shook, and for him to not go all jiggly jelly legs like how he would do years later against Usyk still blows my mind, because the punch that Deontay Wilder landed on him was probably 10 times harder than what Usyk landed on him. Yet, for some reason, the effect of Usyk's punch had more damaging effect. And that's because I don't believe Fury is the same fighter that he once was. And it's sad for me to say. So Deontay Wilder, man, after being knocked out early in the 3rd round, goes to knock down Fury 2 times in the 4th round and could have stopped him. There was a bit of a shady slow count as well. I remember Andre Ward being quite angry about it. Well, not angry, like, hey guys, that's a long count, it's a long count. So yeah, they would end up fighting until the 11th round, and then Fury would land, he would land another knockdown in round 10, and then the massive knockout punch in round 11 was a left hook, I think, or right hook, and Wilder just goes down. The ref waves it off, but you could see Wilder basically completely exhausted and tried to get up again, but he was never going to make the count this time. He would then be out of the ring for about a whole year, and then would fight Robert Helenius, who had just come off the back of 2 really promising wins against the Polish fighter Kawanecki. At the time, Adam Kawanecki was, touted as a really good fighter, just keep coming forward and just laid on everyone. But Helenius absolutely smashed him. And so, people thinking, has Wilder got much in him? Maybe the fights from Fury took it out of him. It's going to be a competitive fight with what Helenius did to Kawanecki. Nope. Wilder came out dancing around on the back foot, looked really weird, and I was thinking, what's going on here? And I thought to myself, this is not looking good for Wilder. Helenius was pushing the pace, pushing forward, and I thought, oh my gosh, Helenius could beat Wilder here. And then out of nowhere, boom, straight right hand to the face, and Helenius is knocked out and thrown into the shadow realm. That's what Deontay Wilder can do to you. He can take you to the shadow realm, to the underworld with his power. He's that good when it comes to one-shot power. He would then go on to fight Joseph Parker in a bit of a stinker. He talked a big game around Dr. Sleep and, I'm going to knock him out. But then there were signs, he was very relaxed. He was talking about Joshua, talking about ayahuasca, and not really missed boxing at all. And it kind of showed in the fight. He just failed to pull the trigger. It reminded me of Vladimir Klitschko versus Tyson Fury. He just could not pull the trigger, and Parker boxed a smart game plan. Wilder started to have a little bit of success towards the latter rounds. I think it was 11. You could see, oh man, some of those punches are starting to have a little bit of an effect on Parker. But it was too late, and Parker won a very wide decision, and well deserved. So both men go in to this fight having lost both of them to Joseph Parker. How ironic is that? And they're now going to fight each other. Is it a bit of a battle of the losers? I hate to say that because both of these guys should have beaten Joseph Parker. I'm a big Joseph Parker fan, but I'm sorry, but these two guys are Olympic champions, you know, Olympic medalists. You know, you got Zhang, who was a silver medalist, and Deontay was bronze medalist, and both of them have got incredible talent and incredible punching power. They both should have beaten Joseph Parker. They should have, but they didn't, because Joseph Parker is one of the most hardworking, diligent fighters that just wants to keep learning and keep getting better. Hard work will always beat talent when talent fails. I don't think I got that saying right, but anyway. So my prediction for this video, it's such a hard fight to predict, to be honest, because you got so many variables. You've got Zhang, who hits like a big bang, and he's got heavy thudding punching power. And then you've got Wilder, who's got one shot power that can just detonate on you, and it is literally like a bomb. And you know that Zhang has not just the right hand, but he's also got the left hook and a strong jab as well. And Wilder just has the right hand. But against a southpaw, it opens up really nicely for the right hand, which is why I couldn't believe Fury was not throwing more of the right hand to Usyk. But then again, easier said than done, right? Because look, Joshua couldn't do it. So, look, it is such a 50-50 fight. Okay. I am going to go against my brain in this one, because my brain is telling me Zhang all day. My brain is telling me Zhang is going to do similar job to Wilder that Fury did. Walk him down, throw good punches, counter punches. Wilder will be on the back foot, and he'll be kind of chasing the pace, and he might get dropped a couple of times. It might end up even going to the cards, and Zhang sort of winning on points because Wilder just kind of goes into a shell and, you know, kind of has a similar performance to what he did against Parker. But I've got to go with a little bit of an inkling that I have in my gut that Wilder's going to hit the canvas. Wilder is going to face a bit of adversity, and he's just going to come out. He's going to wind back the clock like he did against Ortiz, and he's going to hit that one-shot power on Zhang, and Zhang might not even go down. He might stumble, and Wilder will just go in with a windmill, and the referee might stop it. Prematurely or not, might give it a stoppage. So I am going to pick Deontay Wilder to win this fight by knockout or TKO. Even though my brain is thinking it's going to be probably Zhang, I'm going to just go with a little bit of a gut feeling here. And I really, really hope this does happen, because if it does, we could finally, and I mean finally, see Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua. Imagine that at Wembley Stadium. Man, that could be one of the biggest heavyweight fights ever. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think is going to happen in this fight? Drop a like, hit that subscribe link, and as always, thank you for watching Seru Bale's Boxing Pro Wrestling YouTube channel. Vinaka Team.